This is Grow Omaha Uncut, where you can watch our radio show, including what goes on in the commercial breaks. And be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons.
Well, good morning and welcome to the show. Jeff Beals here at your service. You are listening to the area's only show dedicated to real estate construction, business expansion, really anything related to Omaha becoming a bigger and more vibrant place. We're brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding. Without any further ado, it's time to introduce my co-host, that is, a man who is a legendary real estate deal maker, all-around great guy, and someone who has achieved share status in this town. In other words, you can say just his first name, and everyone knows who you're talking about, and that would be Trenton Magid. Speak, please. You're making me nervous. It's radio. Okay, so Trenton Magid is sitting right next to me, and he is apparently not talking right now. So you think you're not talking because it's April Fool's Day?
Yeah.
Okay. You know,
how'd it go?
You're a humorous guy, and you've been known for taking comedic risks.
Yeah.
I don't think that one worked.
Audience of one?
Yeah, I don't think that one worked.
I liked it.
Yeah.
You know, I take risks, Jeff.
90% of Trenton's humor is very funny. The other 10% is what you just tried there.
You had such a great build-up and everything. So I felt kind of bad. So I apologize to you.
Okay, but you do have share status.
Thank you.
Okay, at any rate.
I like to share with a lot of people.
Since we're off to such a good start, let's go into this week's Grow Omaha Eats column. It's sponsored by Cheer Athletics, which is the nation's top all-star cheer gym. 12 locations nationwide, but the best location is right here in Omaha, Highway 50 and 370 in Papillion. And this week during the review, Sarah Baker Hansen went to Heavy Brewing. This is a brewery in Gretna. I've not yet tried it.
Where did she find these places? I'm impressed.
Well, I've been reading about Heavy Brewing on Omaha Food Lovers, and apparently people really like it. But she went there and she said, yeah, the beer is great, but she also really liked the pizza and some of the food. And some of the names of the beer, I don't know if they're really radio appropriate. Like here's one
What does it rhyme with?
Well, here's one that is radio appropriate. My stripper's name is Cinnamon. That's one of the beers. Nice. And if that one's radio appropriate, you can imagine some of the others.
My porn name is Tinkerbell Haskell.
Can you say?
It's your first pet and the street you grew up on.
Can you say D's Nuts on the radio? Because that's another one. That's another one of the beer names. At any rate, really good place, really good beer, kind of an industrial, off the beaten path area. It's called Heavy Brewing. And like I said, it's in Gretna. Look it up. Go check it out. Really good stuff. And if you want to read the review to make sure you want to go there, just go to growomaha.com. Click on Eats, E-A-T-S on the navigation bar. You can read that review and all of our Cheer Athletics Grow Omaha Eats restaurant reviews.
And Sarah Baker Hansen's a rock star. And a few times, hard to believe that the proprietors of some of these restaurants or the chefs don't take kindly to her reviews. But the good ones are the ones that say, yeah, we appreciate you coming, and the few things that we need to work on, or thank you for pointing that out, we welcome you back. That's class act. And I can understand how people get a little sensitive to reviews of their establishment.
Well, I would say she's never written a truly bad review in all the time that we've had her on Grow Omaha. There have been a couple times where she's been more critical than others, but I think, with even a couple of them where she found some issues, she also had a lot of things that she liked about the place.
She always reaches out to the owner or the chef, so it makes for honest reporting, and it's one person's educated opinion. But we like her, and we like having her on the newsletter.
Time for our news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage. Eagle Mortgage is the place you want to go if you want to get a mortgage. But let's say you're conventional, FHA, VA, it doesn't matter. They do all of that. And one of the best things about them is their level of customer service. They really like to sit down with people, figure out what your situation is, find the best mortgage option for you. Another one of the really good things about them is they're a mortgage broker, which means they can shop the market and they're not just beholden to one bank. I mean, if this bank is better than that bank, they go with this bank. But we recommend them highly. They're located at 114th and Davenport. You can find them online at eaglemortgagecompany.com. Well, the big news or the big story in this week's Grow Omaha newsletter centered on the big openings that will be taking place in the not too distant future this year in downtown Omaha. And in the article, we talked about how Jean Leahy Mall opening last year was a smash hit. And I've noticed a couple times, even while driving around in the winter, when you're downtown, there'll be people, using Jean Leahy Mall, big hit. So we put this article together and we kind of thought, okay, let's talk about some of these blockbuster attractions that are opening in 1 year in downtown Omaha. And the first one is the $101 million Kiewit Luminarium. That is opening as soon as this month.
So the exhibits have to be in there. The training has to be going on. It looks beautiful on the riverfront, and it's hard to believe that it's here. I know they've been working on it for years, but for some reason it seems like it finished fast.
Yeah, 82,000 square feet, couple levels. As you said, Trenton, beautiful building, 120 interactive exhibits. This is one of those attractions that will be a 500-mile radius attraction, like the Henry Doyle Zoo is even more than 500 miles. But this is one of those things where people will plan a stop in town to go see it, or if someone comes to Omaha for the weekend, it's definitely going to be on the itinerary.
Well, we want to be known as a tourism town, and it takes things like this to add to the arsenal. And the fact that the zoo was just rated number 1, I know I voted as much as I could. You did as well, and legally, of course. And so that's exciting. But all these things, Steelhouse Omaha is going to open. Is it this month too?
Yeah, that's the next one, and the opening day is May 12th. So about 1 month after Kiewit Luminarium, first performance is The Killers, and that venue will be unique insofar as there will be no permanent seating, so it can be arranged to accommodate any of the acts that come through there, and about 1,500 to 3,000 attendees.
And you don't have to go very far to see the continuation of the 90-acre riverfront park, where they have more playground equipment, I think, coming up to the east side of 10th Street than they do west of there.
Yeah, and that'll be the third and fourth big blockbuster attractions to open this year. And you are referring to, of course, Heartland of America Park and Lewis and Clark Landing. They are the two remaining portions of the $300 million Riverfront Parks renovation complex, which included the aforementioned Jean Leahy Mall. Altogether, we're looking at 72 acres. Heartland of America Park will have the skating ribbon, 200-foot pier that sticks out to the west bank of the Missouri River. Still have the iconic Heartland of America fountain that will be there. Lewis and Clark Landing is where Kiewit Luminarium will sit. But in addition to that, we're talking about the huge playground that Trenton mentioned, the urban beach, volleyball courts, outdoor event space. So altogether, those are the 4 blockbuster attractions to open in 2023.
The Omaha Streetcar, which will be free to ride.
In 2026.
Yeah, and just everything that's going on, and developers are the things that are opening up at the Mercantile, and they put up the sign for that Fat Putter. 14,000 square foot entertainment venue.
Right on the corner of 10th and Capitol.
Yeah.
City Council approved a $6 million bid for construction for the so-called Baby Bob. That is the pedestrian bridge to the pedestrian bridge, because every good pedestrian bridge needs a feeder pedestrian bridge. This has been long needed because the Bob Carey pedestrian bridge is awesome, but it's hard to get to it. This will be a bridge over the railroad tracks so that if you are in the CHI Health Center, Charles Schwab Field area, you'll be able to walk over to that. Construction is going to begin in May, and completion is planned for the end of 2024. So a nice addition there. Let's go out to Fremont, and that city is in the process of developing what's going to be called the Fremont Dodge Municipal Inland Port Authority. And this is going to be a very cool industrial type development of 1,500 acres, so you could call it a mega site, on the east side of U.S. Highway 275, immediately north of the Douglas County line. And it will be the first inland port authority, projected to generate $1 billion in economic activity after 10 years. And the plan is just to generate and attract new business and global trade.
So it'll be rail served, truck served, and there's no great body of water, but they call it an inland port.
Yeah, and I don't know yet all of the legal particulars that define an inland port versus some other very large industrial site, but I can tell you there will be another one constructed at around the same time in North Platte, Nebraska. And then Governor Heineman, former Governor Heineman, who is on the board of this port authority, was on the KFAB morning news show with Gary and Jim earlier this week. And he said that the only thing similar to it in the area is an inland port in the Kansas City metro area. So I think it's a nice move. You know, Fremont is not technically part of the Omaha Metropolitan Statistical Area, but it is part of what's called the Omaha Combined Metropolitan Statistical Area, as defined by the Census Bureau. So basically you can say Fremont's pretty much in the Omaha area.
Yeah.
And with that, we have just one more other news item I want to mention today. It's kind of cool. HDR, the world-famous engineering and architecture firm headquartered here in Omaha, has been chosen by the University of Nebraska-Lincoln to do design and conceptual work for a very important project in this state, and that would be the Memorial Stadium overhaul and renovation that is planned. This is projected to be a project that will cost anywhere from $200 to $500 million. If I were a betting man, I would guess closer to the $500 million by the time you get all these things going. But HDR is the regents still have to approve the contract. They're going to vote on April 7th, but the university administration has chosen HDR. So kudos to a nice Omaha company.
I wish we just use all that money to pay players.
Well, that's a whole different thing. That's a different pot of money. Okay, and with that, we're going to conclude our news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage. And when we come back, we're going to be bringing on our good friend Craig Wolf. He is the owner of Cheer Athletics, which is one of our sponsors here on Grow Omaha. We're going to be talking about some unique things there. And then also, Craig is investing in another business called AEF Academy. Very cool, forward-thinking, and state-of-the-art basketball, youth basketball business. So we're going to be talking about that, about sports and the business of sports in Omaha. It's going to be good stuff, so stay with us. You're listening to Jeff and Trenton on Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Pray.com.
I think our fans should weigh in on my opening.
It was a little shaky.
Do I get to say my porn star name or no?
What?
Do I get to say my stripper name or no?
Oh, you fit in this show really well.
I'm
She's
Tramp
one of us.
Heathcliff.
What's that?
Tramp Heathcliff is my...
Tramp?
That was my first.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Isn't that awesome? Yeah, like Lady in the Tramp.
And then your street was what?
Heathcliff,
Heathcliff. Where was Heathcliff?
You can't.
Minneapolis.
You couldn't even invent one that's that good.
It's your first pet's name and a street?
In the street
Yeah.
you were born on.
I was born on it?
Yeah.
How do you guys remember that?
115th. No, not the hospital. Like where your family's
Where your parents lived when you were like born. So I would
Holy Arbor.
have been Muggsy Pratt.
Blondo. Saber Blondo.
Saber Blonde.
Muggsy Pratt. Oh, we actually had before Muggsy, we had a cat, and you can't make this stuff up. His name was Fluffer.
No way. Fluffer what?
Fluffer Pratt.
Glad you
I'm
didn't.
going to quit the industry.
My
name was Fluffer, I'd
would
quit
be
the porn industry.
Saber Blondo.
Saber Blondo. That's pretty
Saber Blondo. That's also my spirit animal. So
Give me what you're worth.
Saber-toothed tiger is my spirit animal.
I don't know.
What was your first pet?
Saber Blondo.
My first pet? Juju.
Okay, Juju, and then what street you grew up on?
Juju Alameda.
Yeah.
The name of
Alameda?
the- Yeah. it's the name of
Juju
the
Alameda.
neighborhood.
I like it. Works.
I think it works.
Juju's awesome.
Mine does not work.
Were you like 114th?
No, Sheba's 60.
Sheba's 60. Yeah, if you grow up on a number street, it doesn't kind of work for you very well.
Sheba's 60.
Well, if Sheba's 69, like you just tell
Yeah,
me
69.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would work.
Sheba 69.
But there was a character actor in the 40s, 50s, 60s in a lot of westerns. And I always said that would be a good porn name. It was Chubby Johnson. So I used over him.
That was his.
Will you raise that mic for them so they can all be on it?
In fact, I'm going
You can all crowd in like you're the Pointer Sisters.
Yeah, I'm just going to talk for a minute or two, and I want Rachael to.
Roger, you know what the square root of
16
69
minutes or
is?
so total.
Ain't something.
So when you guys you want to talk, it's good. It's always hard when there are three. So
you put your hands in each other's back pockets.
that's one thing you could do.
Well, if you
so what you have to do is
it's hard to talk straight. The ideal is talk straight.
Yeah, so you need to talk literally into that.
On top of it?
Yeah. Well, what's going to happen is we'll get to talking, and you don't want to be so close to each other, and some of you are going to be talking like this, and we're not going to hear a thing.
Okay.
Right.
So you need to get
Step
right
in.
up in
okay.
it. Yeah. Don't touch it though. You could
Yeah,
get a
don't
lip.
touch
You
it.
could get a
Don't
lip
touch it.
fungus.
Don't touch it.
Training goes out for 3 weeks.
Talk loud, right? Like this loud?
Yeah.
Like you're pretty loud.
Yeah.
I just come here for
Hey,
a
you,
Pretty loud.
you don't want to get the iHeartMedia lip fungus, so don't touch it. But get as close to it as you can without.
You don't have to yell though.
No.
That's good.
I don't know if Rachael's going to be following on.
Yeah, about like that. Yeah.
Find us online at dnmroofing.com. That's dnmroofing.com.
You're playing
Let's get that fixed.
Tempting
Maybe you can
fate.
get it back up.
I know you're
Microphone Viagra.
the radio side at 8:50 for the Rosie to Genosi, but don't worry, it's easy to get anytime on the podcast page under Jim Rosie.
And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Maggot at your service in the KFAB Penthouse Studio, high above Underwood Avenue in beautiful downtown Dundee. The show is brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding. D&M Roofing and Siding is the company you want to call anytime you need some help with, well, roofing or siding. But Trenton, you had D&M Roofing and Siding working with you lately.
Oh, they did flat roof. They did a flat roof for us. Did an excellent job on that. But they do all types of different roofs, and they are very responsive and very positive. They do free estimates, and they also do analysis. So if you have a roof, commercial or residential, to have them out and see what you need to do and plan for the future.
Let's bring on our good friend Craig Wolf. He is the owner with his wife Tiffany of Cheer Athletics and serial entrepreneur in this town, all-around good guy and fellow Westside High School class of 1987 classmate of Jeff and Trenton's.
In the house.
Good morning, Craig Wolf.
Good morning, fellas. How are you?
Good. It's good to have you back. How's business these days?
You know, it's there's never a dull moment, and I want to thank you guys for bringing me back on. As those closest to me say, hey, you have the perfect face for radio. So it's always.
Well, they tell me I have a voice for sign language, so
You fit in well with us. So, Craig, we're going to be now. You're quite an entrepreneur. You're involved in a variety of different businesses, and you do some consulting work. And a lot of people knew you from the days of when you were with CNA Industries,
Yes.
and then after that company sold, now you're an entrepreneur. And we're going to be talking a lot about some sports businesses, though, in particular, even a basketball business.
I absolutely appreciate the opportunity to talk about these things with you guys on the air. Our family was so blessed for so many years at CNA. Arias, we did business under the name of Arias Medical, and we sold the company in October 2019. And I just feel like we have a responsibility to give back to this community in so many ways. And so Tiffany, my wife, and I started Cheer Athletics 2 years ago. We'll be going on our third season. Here starting in May. We have tryouts in April, May, and June. If you'd like to come out and check us out, if you have an athlete in All-Star Cheer, and I want to make that distinction too. Cheer, there's two different types of cheer. You have the sideline cheer for football, and then you have the All-Star Cheer where you have the stunting and the tumbling. And these, go onto YouTube and just Google the All-Star Cheer on YouTube. It's incredible what these athletes can do. I'm very proud to be a part of that. Not only just investing in these athletes that love the sport they're in, but we're able to give them and help them with life skills. And that's the really important thing for us. If you have an athlete in that arena, we have an open house tomorrow on Highway 50 and 370 from 2 to 6. Come on out, Cheer Athletics. Check us out. We'd love to have you come in, meet our coaches, meet Tiffany and I, and just look at the facility. It's a 30,000 square foot state of the art facility. We're very blessed to be in that. So it's great to be a part of that. And with youth sports, I have now 2 other business partners, which we'll bring on here in a minute, Rachael and Andy with AEF Academy. AEF stands for Attitude, Effort, and Focus, and Andy will talk a little bit more in depth on that. But as I've gotten into the youth sports arena, what I have seen is that there needs to be change in youth sports, and I'm really anxious to help and spearhead that. For families out there that are in youth sports, and there's a lot of you, you should never feel like that you're caught between a rock and a hard spot. It's all about winning. A lot of these organizations, or a lot about money, and majority of these athletes are not going to go on to the next level. What we should be investing in is life skills and helping them become better, so that when they leave your organization, our organization, that they're able to make a contribution to the world, and that's what we're here for.
Craig, with Cheer Athletics, we have locations all around the country. It was originally out of Dallas and has developed a high level of prestige. And when you guys brought the brand to Omaha, it was only the 12th location. And it's kind of like pick like one of the most prestigious national retailer brands that are out there. Cheer Athletics is to All-Star Cheer what, say, Lululemon would be to athletic apparel or something like that.
Very true. I appreciate that. Cheer Athletics now has 14 locations. They have opened another one in Texas, and actually opening one this spring in London, England. So we are now worldwide, and it is the #1 cheer brand out there. When we got the thumbs up to bring Cheer Athletics to Omaha, I'm an Omaha kid. So for athletes in the sport of all-star cheer, we were so excited to be able to say, hey, there's a Cheer Athletics in Omaha, because there's a lot of cities that want Cheer Athletics in their city, and we should feel very blessed that we're here in Omaha.
But you guys do a lot more than just get kids off their phones for a few hours, which is incredibly important these days for adults and for children.
Very true.
But also important is evidenced by, we see all these mental health facilities going up, and I wonder why we have to have these mental health facilities. But if we had more Cheer Athletics and we had more advocates and more mentors for children, that's just as important as anything else when it comes to the health of our children.
Very true. And, all-star cheer is a year-round sport. We have these athletes in our gym 2 to 3 times a week for pretty much 48 out of 52 weeks of the year. We take a couple weeks off for spring break and Christmas break and those types of things. But this isn't just about cheer. We brought in last fall the Kim Foundation, which the Kim Foundation here locally supports the organizations that support mental and behavioral health. We had those advocates come in, talk to our kids about the importance of not, obviously physical health, if you're in a sport, is very important. But as we're finding today, especially post-COVID, how important the mental health of our, especially youth, is. And we're very passionate about that, especially at Cheer Athletics.
Well, like we said, Cheer Athletics is just one of the businesses that Craig has invested in, and we're going to take our middle of the show break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about AEF Academy, and this is a very cool youth basketball business that is just getting started with us. Andy Beck and Rachael Blum are going to be telling us all about that, and you don't want to go anywhere. We're going to give you all sorts of details coming to the La Vista area. You're listening to Jeff and Trenton on Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Have you guys seen I think it's Wilson, the prototype for the airless basketball? It's black, and it's like, I don't know if it's printed or how they do it, but it's like little honeycombs. I'm just going to find it. But it's... it never loses air. It never has different air pressure and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't seen that. It's pretty cool. You need to invest in that. Let's see.
D&M Roofing. Find us online at dnmroofing.com. Let's get that fixed.
Now, how did you guys become partners? Are you?
So I've been coaching in the community for 16 years.
Okay.
Started at St. Pius, St. Leo when I was a freshman in high school.
Okay.
Transferred high school, couldn't play my freshman year. Was sick the entire month my sophomore year during tryouts. Dislocated my right shoulder and had surgery my junior year 2 weeks before tryouts, and dislocated it again my senior year.
Oh, jeez.
So it was all a blessing.
You weren't meant to play.
No, it was all a blessing. I don't take any of it for granted. It was definitely my path in life really early. So then I started coaching at Omaha Sports Academy, where Rachael worked for 13 years. I actually coached her son on 5 different teams.
All right.
He'll be coaching for me this summer in our camps and everything.
Your son?
So yeah, we have 7 coaches. Myself, my twin brother just started working for us. Colin Banker, who Craig knows, then all of our other 5 coaches have played for me before.
Okay.
So that's super cool because they know me, they know my system. I've stayed in contact with just about every team and every kid that I've ever coached for the last 16 years because I care about them more than I care about anything else.
Yeah.
So that's where AEF kind of happened. Was 3 years ago, a team of mine created a group chat, and my message for the last 4 years since Jesus saved me was attitude, effort, and focus through anything that you do in life. Like whatever happens, people get up and it's snowing, I have a bad day. It really doesn't matter. None of that stuff should matter. So you should have a good attitude, good effort, good focus, no matter what happens. So they titled our group text AEF, and I looked back at it when I was praying about it. I'm like, I need to start my own thing. I have a strong following. I know a lot of people and have become fairly good at what I do. So I decided to talk to his friend Mick, and his friend Mick was like, you need to meet my friend Craig and get you two introduced. So we started this whole thing last March, and I got to work. We got the LLC this August. We had 4 teams in the fall and winter. Now we have 13 teams.
Oh, geez.
We're projecting close to 20 plus next season.
So it's really growing like crazy.
Yeah, it's growing like crazy because of what we believe in, like our core values, and that's the same. Like that's why I hired Rachael. She's the best of the best. She's literally the best organization head in the entire country. She knows everyone. She's communicable. She's an unbelievable person, and that's why she's with us. Because
So then, what's your role, Rachael?
She does everything.
She guts in the glory.
She does everything.
Chief Operating Officer, part owner.
Make sure stuff happens, bills are paid, and lights are turned on, and people
Yes.
show up to be customers.
So it's introduce Jeff. That's the important part. The 3 of us are owners of AEF.
Okay.
Yeah, we're all part owners and good friends, good people.
That's cool. Yeah. So how old is that kid now that he used to coach?
He's 19.
Yeah.
So, middle of the road player.
How many kids do you have?
Ended up on Westside Varsity.
Oh, no kidding.
Simons was like, you're not going to get a lot of minutes, but we love the way you practice, condition, your play hard.
How tall is he?
Say no more. I want to play. And he became a fan favorite. We want Blum. We want Coach put him out, and he'd just rock it. Ross Sternstrom interviewed him. I mean,
That's a cool story.
he was.
He's like Rudy.
It was like Rudy.
It was incredible.
And I'm that parent that's just like, oh my God, and he's the hype guy, doing the handshakes.
And when they were probably saying
changed
this,
his life. I was so worried.
No one thought he would
after
play
COVID.
high school basketball.
Nobody.
I
He trained him the summer
when the
before.
kids were saying his name, were like tears were down here. He didn't start, did he?
No, I thought they were yelling, we want food.
Oh. Well, they wanted that too.
I mean, just the year of his life, and it just did.
So what's he doing
That
now?
was
Is
his
he in
senior-
We
college?
gave him the confidence.
Was that the senior
Is he-
year? Was that senior
Yes.
year?
Is he in
It
college?
was last year.
Did he play before that?
Well, yeah, he was on like freshman B, sophomore reserve, JV.
Worked his way up.
Just kept trying.
So he's
Yeah,
helping
he
you
gave
out
him
now?
the confidence.
He trained with me 3 days a week out in the 90-degree heat before I had a court. I live at Broadmoor Hills, and they have an indoor court. Before
They
that,
have a court there?
yeah, there's an indoor court there. It's incredible. They let me use it. That's how I grew my client base from 13 a week to 25 a week to 80 plus last summer.
Oh, that's
I
pretty
mean,
cool.
that's our story. We don't need the best players.
Yeah.
We're going
You
to
just
make
need
you
heart.
the best you
Yeah.
can be.
Yeah, last night was a pretty good night for AEF. We went 4-1 in our first tournament, and I won. And
Congratulations.
yeah, it was just an unbelievable feeling to see. And half the kids on the teams that we were playing against, I've coached before.
All right.
So it's like I've coached a lot of kids in the community, and I don't win or lose, doesn't matter to me.
That's pretty. So what's he doing now? Is he in school
He's
somewhere?
at Lincoln partying.
Oh,
Do you remember
maybe some academic?
Do you remember Nancy Bowles?
If you're watching, son, we know you do more than just
like
party.
finishing
Modeling,
school,
yes,
modeling, but
yes.
it was there's not a lot of them are going to go be models, guys and gals, but it was finishing school, kind of like give people confidence type thing.
Yes.
And, I'll tell you what, adults and kids like social media and forget about AI. We got a lot of issues in addition to that.
Totally. Yeah.
I mean, adults get together and sit around the table, and I'm guilty.
Yeah, we'll go out for team lunches or team dinners. We'll go to the movie, and there's no phone policy.
Yeah, I think this would be restaurants with no phone.
Good idea. Yeah, it's a good idea. We have that in our family when we have dinner. They're not even allowed to have them at the table. And sometimes we're
But it's making kids more socially awkward. I mean, my daughter will say, "Dad, can you get me a Coke?" Ask the waiter.
Get your own
Coke.
Yeah, right.
You got to get them out of the
I have to do the same thing with my
I'll have a new group come in and train with me. I had a group of 4 train with me. This was probably 4 months ago. All of them were brand new. They'd known me as a coach and they wanted to train, so it was Christmas break so I could get a new group in. And I asked their parents to come in with them so they could watch the workout. I always invite parents into our practices, to our workouts, so videotape, ask me questions, any of that. Like, I'll be able to answer your questions. We never want to push people away from practice. Come on in, we have your kids with you. So they all walk in and I was like, all right, Owen, who is that? And he looked at me. He's like, I'm like, Owen, who is that? He's like, I really don't know. I'm like, ask him his name. They don't even, to the very basic root, they don't even know how to ask questions. Yeah. So then I'll randomly, during a practice, if I know a kid doesn't know another kid's name or who they are, I'm like, Ben, what's Jake's favorite food? I look, is it cheeseburgers? I'm like, ask him.
Yeah. For that age group, that's not a bad bet.
Yeah, it's true.
Cheeseburgers. All right, here we go.
Work with us, Roger.
And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beal sitting next to Trenton Maggot. And we are brought to you by D&M Roofing and Siding and our good friends at Dingman's Collision Center. We love Dingman's Collision Center because they do such a good job of taking care of you. If you have the unfortunate incident of a fender bender.
Been there, done that.
Planned, you got a, I think you got a car at Dingman's you're working on. But at any rate, there's all sorts of services they provide. In addition to body work, they also have mechanical services in 4 metro area locations. All right, real fast, it's time for our commercial real estate development spotlight of the week, brought to you by Noddle Companies. We love Noddle Companies because they are the premier commercial and residential real estate developer in the Midwest, based right here in Omaha, projects all over the country, and they're famous in Omaha for projects like Exarban Village, Builders District, River's Edge, and many others. But we want to mention Steel Ridge today, Trenton. I drove by on Interstate 80 yesterday, and I tell you what, the Rotella's storage warehouse that is under construction there is coming along. This is what you like to see in warehouses these days: high ceiling, real modern look, and there's room for a lot more industrial on Steel Ridge. In addition to that project, if you're wondering where is Steel Ridge, it is at Highway 370 and Interstate 80. Highway 370 and Interstate 80.
It's a great development. I'm working on some stuff on the north side. So we'll see if we get it.
All right, and that is your commercial real estate development spotlight of the week, brought to you by Noddle Companies. Great company run by Jay Noddle and a team of outstanding professionals. If you want to learn more about them, just go to noddlecompanies.com. Well, we had Craig Wolf on last segment talking about cheer athletics, and we're going to talk about a somewhat related company. Craig's involved in AEF Academy, a very unique and up-and-coming basketball youth sports business. We have with us partners Andy Beck and Rachael Blum. Andy and Rachael, welcome to the show.
Yeah, hey, thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate you having us on.
Good morning.
Good morning, Rachael. Well, so this business, we'll start with you, Andy, because you founded it, and it's involved in youth basketball, but that's a pretty broad way of saying it. Tell us what's unique about AEF.
Yeah, so I've been coaching for 16 years in the community. I started at St. Pius, St. Leo, my alumni. Then I went to the OSA and coached there for 12 years. Great experience, a lot of good people there. And then I just decided after a while that I wanted to start my own thing. Been doing it for a long time and thought that I had a good enough following to do it. And really, in general, my message for youth sports is that I care about the kids more than anything, and I always have. And I want them to feel more confident, more courageous going out into the world after they play basketball, after they play sports. So AEF, it really started with a team of mine 3 years ago, creating a chat called AEF, because my message for the last 4 years since coming to Jesus has been, through everything in life, through the things that I've gone through my mistakes in coaching in my early years, because I've made a lot of them. I've made a lot of mistakes. And I was the guy on the sideline, punching clipboards and getting technicals. And I still cared about the kids and had passion, but I was directing it in the wrong way. And so I had to look at that internally and see what am I doing wrong and how can I change that? And then, so for me, when I can tell the kids that I'm doing something wrong, they now know it's okay to mess up. So at AEF, Attitude, Effort, and Focus, we're going to make mistakes. We invite mistakes. Our coaching staff wants kids to go try things. We want kids to miss shots. We want them to make moves and learn from those moves so they can be confident doing it the next time. So whether they make a layup or miss a layup, whether they make a good play or miss a good play, that's really irrelevant. It's their attitude going forward after that happens. So if they make a three, let the bench cheer for them, but don't put your hands up, get back on defense. If you miss a three, don't put your head down, sprint back and guard somebody. If you make a mistake, which every human on earth that wakes up today is going to make a mistake, including myself, have a good attitude about it. Put effort forward towards what you're going to do to change it, and then focus on that solely. Don't focus on the mistake itself. Focus on what you're going to do moving forward to change that. So at AEF, that's what we've done. We had 4 teams last fall and winter. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun. We had a 4th, a 5th, a 7th, and an 8th grade team. And we have grown to 13 teams this spring and summer. We have 5 high school teams that are playing this weekend in the Recruit Look tournament out at UBT. We had a lot of fun last night. We had 5 games. We went 4-1 last night, and I never keep track of my record. I have no idea what my record is. I've coached for 16 years. It doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is how we play, and how we play usually reflects on the scoreboard because of our attitude, effort, and our focus. And so I'll actually give it over to my partner here, Rachael Blum, who is our COO. She's our Chief Operating Officer. I met Rachael 12 years ago, coached her son on 5 different teams, and he is such a shining example of what AEF is. And I want Rachael kind of to give a little bit of a testimony about that and her story with AEF.
Thanks, Andy. So exactly what Andy said. I mean, we are very youth focused. If you walk into a gym these days, unfortunately, you don't hear the cheering. You hear screaming. The situation seems to have gotten out of hand. The temperature is hot. There's coaches yelling at refs. There's spectators yelling at refs. It's a tough job, and any organization head will tell you that there is a ref shortage. And a lot of the reason is because they are having the experience of, we'll bring in new refs and they will not come back because of the way they are treated.
Like police officers sometimes.
Exactly. And they are just trying to do their jobs. And, we know there's a problem out there, and we're not okay with the way things are. So some of the things that we are looking to do are to have a reffing academy, have a youth sports commission where we can have representatives from every angle, every group, from parents to referees to organization heads to players, to past players to coaches, to go out and to come represent your group and to bring that back out to the community and say, hey guys, we are working together in this. We are all in this for one reason, and that is our youth. So to go back, Andy and I have worked together for a long time in this business. He did train my child, and he's no longer a child, he's 19. But he is the prime example of what we are doing with our kids. I have had the middle-of-the-road player, athlete who never gave up, loved having Andy as a coach, was always bummed when he didn't make his team, but did have the attitude of, I'll show them. Andy still continued to reach out to him. Hey, buddy, come sit on our benches, when you're not playing. Come to our team meals, stayed in touch with him, went to movies with him. And Charlie continued to play basketball. He made the freshman B team at Westside, and then JV or sophomore reserve, JV. And coach asked him to continue to play varsity and let him know that he was not going to get the minutes that he probably wanted or deserved, but that he worked hard at practice and conditioning. And he said, "Coach, say no more. I'm in. I want to be part of this team." And Andy worked with him that summer before. If anything, probably the best thing he did for him was built his confidence and told him it is okay to miss that shot, but you got to take that shot, and you can make that shot. You just have to know you can make that shot. And it just did wonders for him. It was an amazing experience, and that's what we want to do for each of our kids, because one day those gym shoes are coming off. And I know that my kid now has something that he can give back to the community. Pay it forward. He made an impact on that court when he was there, and he's now making an impact in the community. And he is ready now to give that back to youth and work with us this summer.
Well, I don't think we have to look that far for prime examples. And being a Creighton fan and having season tickets and having just gone to Louisville and seeing the locker room speech from Greg McDermott, it's really awesome. And I see for your youth, for your student players, they can look at Creighton as a fine example of that. But tell us about the new facility that's going up in La Vista.
So, yeah, we're really excited about this. We are partnering with Larry Jensen. He's going to build a brand new facility for us off of 99th and Portal Road. If you get off on I-80 on the Giles exit and you go east down Giles, you'll pass the QT on 117th, and then you'll get to the Come and Go on 108th and Giles. Once you get to that Come and Go, Portal Road is right there. You'll just take a right to go south down Portal Road. You'll pass a few strip malls, a brewery, and it's right in this little cul-de-sac on 99th and Portal Road. Great area, incredible development happening in that area. I personally am really excited because it's a 3-court facility. You see a lot of facilities with, 6, 8 courts, which is awesome and great for growth. But with the 3 courts, I can be on everyone's court, and that's kind of our model at AEF. I'm not just coaching our kids, I'm training our coaches. So we had 12 hours of coaching training before any of our coaches coached our teams this spring and summer. They had to be on my court to learn from me, take notes, and then they had to come to games on our last tournament over the fall and winter before we just, threw them out there into the coaching world. Because I know personally, when I started coaching, I had no idea what I was doing. I knew that I wanted to help kids. I knew that I loved basketball, and I knew that I had energy for it. So through learning all of that, 3 courts is going to be ideal. We're going to have a really good model where we'll have 2 teams practicing at a time. And I know that with the 2 teams practicing at the same time, we can get a lot done on that court. We'll have transition on court 1. So we'll go 1.5 hour practices twice a week. The first court will be transition. So every team will learn AEF transition. Number 2 will be our team time, so you can separate and learn plays, half court, inbounds plays, stuff like that. And number 3 will be our skill work court. So it's very important to me, no matter if you're a good player or a bad player, everyone at AEF will get to touch the ball and they'll learn skill work.
Okay, well, Andy, we appreciate that. Andy, Beck, and Rachael Blum, thank you so much for joining us. It's AEF Academy, and we wish you guys the best of success as you get ready for your new facility later this year. Thanks so much, guys.
Jeff, Trenton, thank you so much. If anyone is interested to come and watch a practice, please reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to have you guys out.
Website?
It's AEFclubs.com.
All right, and that is it's time for our lightning round when we come back from our final break of the hour. You're listening to Jeff and Trenton on Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
And Craig, I thought it was good.
I got to go out to a game. I have 6 games today.
Thank you guys so much.
Appreciate you.
So
you too.
Rachel, it's a pleasure.
Thank you guys so much.
You're so affable.
We wish you guys the best.
Well, okay, so that'll go on YouTube, and I can.
It'll be on YouTube. It'll be on growomaha.com.
Okay. So I tweeted about you guys, forwarded on.
Rachel, it's still AEFclubs.com, right?
Yeah, it may be Academy, but either way, whatever you type in, it goes to the right. It'll go to the same address, and we have a new website next week. It's actually
okay. But yeah, so podcast will be available on growomaha.com, video on growomaha.com, and then the video on the YouTube channels.
Nice. So we'll put that out, and good deal.
Rock on.
Yeah, well, I see it's on here. Good luck with the games. Yeah.
Thanks.
And those are out at UPT today?
Those are, yes.
Oh, okay.
All right, Karen. Take care.
Hey, we'll talk to you soon, dude.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So, isn't UBT the competition?
It is, but everybody holds joints.
Last year.
So,
And you invite
Tell her
everybody.
about the button.
go in.
Hit the button on the right side of the door.
Baseball does that too.
To open it.
One group will play one other group, but you have to have someone to play. So
Right.
You play your business competitors. Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll have about 4.5.
Okay, that works. Yeah. We'll just fly through them pretty fast. Unfortunately, we have a lot of closings to report
I
today.
saw that.
What's up with, okay, so Saigon and then,
We've got Bella Vita.
what, Bella Vita's closing? Shit, there's
We're back
nothing.
on. Okay, retiring.
Go ahead and go.
And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Maggot at your service. We are brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding. It's time for the Turner Construction Lightning Round. Turner Construction makes this possible for you out of their generosity and their love of the Omaha community and the Omaha built environment. It makes sense that they're into the Omaha built environment because they're one of the world's most successful and respected construction contractors. And they do big, medium, and small-sized projects. Got an office right here in Omaha and many other cities, so they can help you nationally and internationally as well with your projects if you do business elsewhere. But at any rate, Turner Construction is very customer focused. Their team is motivated to deliver great projects on time, on budget, and to be good communicators with the project owners while construction is happening. Turner Construction, bringing you the lightning round. All right, well, let's get into it. Construction has started in Heartwood Preserve, southwest of West Dodge Road on 144th Street, on a Charleston's restaurant and a Mahogany Prime Steakhouse. They'll replace the existing locations.
So a lot of people ask why they would go off Dodge Street. And Lockwood's Chip James has a relationship with Hal Smith, who is the proprietor of those buildings. And they're buying them, and that way he can go a little bit longer than his current lease. And then there'll be opportunities for new tenants along Dodge.
Wilby's Comfort 2.0 will hold a ribbon cutting April 28th for a new restaurant in Papillion. Wilby's was originally a food truck. Sleep Number, the mattress and bed store, has replaced Potbelly's Sandwich Shop at 74th and Dodge. Sleep Number has a handful of other metro area locations. Pedego Electric Bikes plans to open sometime in April in the former Omaha Lounge space at 15th and Farnham downtown. They have an existing location at 144th and F. Let's get some of the bad news out of the way. We have some retail and restaurant closings. Bella Vita in downtown Elkhorn on Main Street closes today.
That was a surprise.
Owner is retiring. Family Fare grocery store 90th and Maple plans to close April 14th.
It's not a surprise.
Malara's, the Italian restaurant in South Omaha, closing in mid-April. Sadly, the founder died last month. April 15th is their last day. Saigon Surface, Vietnamese restaurant in downtown Omaha, closes in a few days. Next week, middle of next week, they're in the northwest corner of 14th and Harney.
And talk to Spencer Morrissey or me in our office. We have that space available for lease.
Oh, I didn't know that. The Sojourn Cafe already closed on Main Street in Ralston. And then, do you want to own a restaurant? Bruschi Bistro and Bar
Great
is for
restaurant.
sale. And that's at 132nd and Dodge in the Lindenwood
Paul,
development.
Who used to have Spana and no, I don't. Did he have Spana? He had 120. Oh no, Prima 140. He had Prima 140.
Oh, that goes back a ways. But yeah, so if you want to own your own restaurant, that's a pretty good one right there. Lyle's Pizza at 52nd and Leavenworth has opened in a former Maxi Walker space in Midtown. The soft opening was earlier this week. You'll want to go out there and give that a try. And then El Vallarta has opened its newest location at 124th and West Center Road in a building that was previously a McAllister's Deli. And can you tell me what was in that building before McAllister's Deli?
Of course.
What?
Hooters.
How would you know that?
You told me.
Oh, okay. How would you know where a Hooters was located? All right, the other McAllister, or rather the other El Vallarta locations are in Gretna, La Vista, and in Blair. And then finally, we've got University of Nebraska at Omaha making a move that will hopefully do some good things for workforce development in the area. UNO is launching a program designed to attract out-of-state students to help solve the labor shortage. So it's called the Our, O-U-R, Our Tuition Program, and it offers reduced out-of-state tuition to students from 11 states. And so this should attract more people to come to UNO. Hopefully a lot of them will stick around. And the music's playing, which means we're done. I'm Jeff Beals.
And I'm Trenton Maggot.
You've been listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center, D&M Roofing and Siding, and Turner Construction. We'll chat with you again next week at 9 o'clock right here on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.